In this video, I'm going to discuss answers for questions related to parallelograms. Before everything, we need to understand what a parallelogram is and the properties of a parallelogram. Right? දැන් ඔක්කොටම කලින් මොකක්ද parallelogram එකක් කියන්නේ කියලා අපි ඔළුවට දාගන්න වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම parallelograms වල තියෙන properties. එහෙම නැත්නම් ලක්ෂණ මොනවද කියලාත් අපිට තේරුම් ගන්න වෙනවා. Right, now in simple terms, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral. What is a quadrilateral? It's a four-sided closed plane figure, right? Precisely, a quadrilateral is a closed plane figure bounded by four straight line segments. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel, right? So the first point that you should keep in your memory is opposite sides of a parallelogram are parallel, right? They are parallel. So let's mark it. Now, if you consider these two sides, these are opposite sides. And also, if you consider these two sides are actually opposite sides, right? Now, if I label this parallelogram A, B, C, D, A, B, and C, D are opposite sides. So they are parallel means normally we denote this using arrowheads like this. Now this AD side and BC side are also opposite sides, AD and BC. So they are also parallel, right? So we can use two arrowheads, right? So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides are parallel is called a parallelogram. Now the next point that you have to remember is the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Now when you consider AB side AB and side CD, these two sides are equal in length. Also the other two opposite sides are equal in length. So I can write like this. AB equals CD and AD equals BC. Okay, so this is one of the main properties of a parallelogram, right? Then the next point. The opposite angles of a parallelogram are also equal. So what are the opposite angles here? Right, now if you consider this angle and this angle, these are opposite angles. So these two angles are equal in the magnitude. So angle A equals angle C. And also the other two opposite angles are also equal, right? So angle B equals angle D. Now let's say if this is 100 degrees, this should be 100 degrees. If angle A is 80 degrees, this should be 80 degrees. Okay, the next point is the area of the parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. Right, now when we draw the diagonals, right, like this. Now these are the diagonals of this parallelogram, right? If I name them, it's AC and BD, right? Now it says area of the parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. Right, now if you consider diagonal AC, right? Because of this diagonal AC, this area of the parallelogram is exactly equal to the other part, right? If this area is, let's say, A, then definitely the other part also A. The area of the other part also A. Therefore, the area of ACD, triangle ACD equals area of triangle ABC. And on the other hand, the area of triangle ABD equals the area of triangle BCD. Right? So that's the third point that you should remember. Right? The fourth point. In a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. Now, these are our diagonals, the blue color lines, right? Now, because of the diagonals, this length and this length is equal. And also, on the other hand, this length and this length should be equal. So if I write this, I can write like this. Let's put O here, right? The intersection point, the middle. AO equals OC. Also, DO equals OP. So first of all, you need to understand these properties, the properties of a parallelogram. Right, now, apart from these properties, remember these points as well. Now, when you add angle A and D, where is angle A and D? A is here and D is here. So when you add these two angles, you get 180 degrees. When you add these two angles, you get 180 degrees. Similarly, if you add this angle B and angle C, again you get 180 degrees. So these angles are called allied angles, right? These are called allied angles, right? Now also, right, if you add angle A and angle B, you get 180 degrees. Similarly, if you add angle C and D, again you get 180 degrees. So remember, this equals 180 degrees. So these angles also are called allied angles. A and B, and also C and D, right? So keep this point as well, because this is important for you to solve certain questions. Right, next you should know about the theorems related to parallelograms. Okay, so theorem 1, right, and theorem 2, actually I discussed. These are the properties of a parallelogram, right? So opposite sides are equal in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal, opposite angles are equal. Then the area of the parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. And as the second theorem, in a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. Right. Now, the other theorems below are the converse theorems. Right? These are the converse theorems. For example, if you take the first one, it says, if the opposite sides of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram. Let's say if you are given a quadrilateral, and if you are given that this quadrilateral's opposite sides are equal like this, that means this quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay. So similarly, if you take the next theorem, the converse theorem, the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are equal. If the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram, right? If the given quadrilaterals opposite angles are equal, then it should be a parallelogram. Right. The next one, If the diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. So if you are given that the diagonals of this quadrilateral bisect each other, then it should be a parallelogram, right? That means these two lengths should be equal and these two lengths should be equal. Right. Lastly, the last theorem, it is again a converse theorem. In a quadrilateral, if a pair of opposite sides is equal and parallel, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Now, according to this theorem, let's say you are given a quadrilateral with a pair of opposite sides which is equal and parallel, like this. Let's say if we consider these two opposite sides, if they are equal and parallel, definitely this is a parallelogram. Or if you take the other two opposite sides, if they are equal, right, and parallel, definitely this is a parallelogram. Okay, so these are the theorems related to parallelograms. Okay, now what I do is I'm going to discuss certain questions from your textbook exercises. So first of all, I'm going to discuss the exercise 16.2, question number 4. Right, now in this sum it says PQRS is a parallelogram. ඒගොල්ලෝ clearly කියනවා මෙන්න මෙයා parallelogram එකක් කියලා. නේ? Right. එතකොට parallelogram වල properties අපිට මතක් වෙන්න ඕනේ මේක parallelogram එකක් නම්. Then they say points X and Y lie on PR such that PX equals XY equals YR. Here is PX. This equal to XY. Also equal to YR. So that's why they have put these dashes. Right. Then we need to prove that QX equals SY. Where is QX? It's over here. SY is here. So මේ දෙන්න equal කියලා අපිට prove කරන්න ඕනේ. Then බලන්න මේ sides දෙන්න pink color sides දෙන්න ඉන්නේ මෙන්න මේ triangles අස්සේ නේද? Triangle එකේ side එකක් විදිහට නේද? Right? මේ triangles දෙන්නගේ sides තමා මෙන්න මේ දෙන්න. එතකොට මේ දෙන්න equal කියලා prove කරන්න නම් පුතා ලේසියෙන්ම අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් දේ තමා මේ triangles දෙන්න congruent කියලා prove කරන්න try කරන එක. ඒතර හැමතිස්සෙම මතක තියාගන්න මේ වගේ parallelograms එනකොට ඔයාට sides දෙකක් equal කියලා prove කරන්න දුන්නොතින් හොඳම දේ ඔයා බලන්න ඒ sides දෙන්න ඉන්නේ triangles දෙන්නෙක් නම්. ඒ sides දෙන්න ඉන්නේ triangles දෙන්නෙක්ගේ නම් ඒ triangles දෙක congruent කියලා prove කරොතින් easily ඔයාට ඔය දීලා තියෙන sides දෙන්න equal කියලා prove කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Right. එතකොට බලන්න මේ triangles දෙන්න කවුද? මම පොඩ්ඩක් erase කරලා ඔයාට පෙන්නන්නම්. මේ triangles දෙන්න තමා දැන් අපි හොයාගත්තු දෙන්න මෙන්න මේ දෙන්න. හරි. එතකොට මේ දෙන්නගේ congruency එක prove කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඔන්න අපිට ලේසියෙන්ම SY and QX කියන sides දෙන්න equal කියලා prove කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So let's write. Let's take this triangle first and this triangle next. So we can say in triangle PXQ and triangle what? The other triangle, second triangle, let's call it SRY. SRY. Right? So you can easily say this px equals yr. Why? It's the given data here. So you can say px, let's say, yeah, px equals yr within brackets, it's given. And then you can say that if you consider now this is a parallelogram, no, right? If this is a parallelogram, these two sides should be parallel, right? If these two sides are parallel, you can take this angle and this particular angle as alternate angles. Why? This PR acts as an transversal, isn't it? This PR acts as a transversal. Right. එතකොට මේ angles දෙන්න ඔන්න මේ වෙලාවේ equal. මේක ලියමු. මම initiate වෙන්නේ PXQ angle එකෙන් නිසා මම එයාගේ elements තමයි මුලින්ම ලියන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ angle එක. So this angle we can name it how? You can say XPQ, right? XPQ. Oh, yeah. Equals this angle, let's call it YRS, right? YRS, or you can say SRY. Let's say SRY, right? SRY. And what are these two angles? You can say these are alternate angles. Right, next. Now, since this is a parallelogram, these two sides should be definitely equal. Right, so you can say that PQ side equals SR side, right? So these are actually opposite sides of a parallelogram, and opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So let's write. Now see, there are three pairs of elements, two pairs of sides and one angle, right? So we can say easily that these two triangles are congruent. So what's the case here? Two sides, two pairs of sides, one pair of angle, that means SAS. So what's this angle? Can you see? This angle, these are the two sides. So this angle is which angle? Is the included angle, right? හරි දැන් ඉතින් අපිට easily කියන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ දෙන්න equal කියලා. ඇයි? මේ දෙන්න congruent triangles දෙන්නේකේ corresponding elements. So you can say SY equals, therefore, here so you can say therefore SY equals, sorry, let's write other way around because මේ විදිහට එන අහලා තියෙන්නේ නේද? QX equals SY. Within brackets, you can say corresponding elements, or you can say specifically these are sides. So corresponding sides of what? Congruent triangles. Right? Within Roman figure 1, then යමු අපි Roman figure 2 වලට. Roman figure 2. 2 වල කියන්නේ same two sides. හැබැයි මේ දෙන්න parallel කියලා අපිට prove කරන්න වෙනවා. Right. මේ දෙන්න equal. එක අපි කලින් prove කරා. දැන් මේ දෙන්න parallel කියලා prove කරන්න ඕනේ. Right. දැන් බලන්න මෙන්න මේ angle එකයි මෙන්න මේ angle එකයි. Right? මේ දෙන්න definitely equal නේද? Why? These two are corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Then මේ triangles දෙන්න congruent නේ, right? 1 and 2, right? එහෙනම් මේ දෙන්නගේ corresponding elements අනිවාර්යෙන් equal වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරි? එතකොට බලන්න මේ angle එක එකට equal ඒ වගේම මේ angle එක පුතා මෙන්න මෙතන කවුද PXQ. ඒ angle එක තියෙන්නේ හරියටම straight line එකක් උඩ. හරි? එහෙනම් අපි දන්නවා නේද? Sum of the angles on a straight line equals what? 180 degrees. එතකොට මේ 180 degrees වලින් මේ angle එක අපි deduct කරලා ලියලා දාමු. හරි? ඔන්න මම ලියන්න ගන්නවා. Let's write. First I'm going to say that these two angles are equal. What are the angles? PXQ. Right? PXQ කියන්නේ මෙතන මෙයා. ඊට අමතරව මේ කවුද අනිත් එක්කෙනා? SYR. It's this one. So why I say so? Because these are corresponding angles, or you can say elements of congruent what? Triangles. Right? Then I'm going to write this one. හරි? 180 degrees වලින් අයින් කරනවා කියලා පෙන්නනවා. 180 degrees වලින් PXQ අයින් කරාම වාට ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ angle එක නේද? හරි මේ angle එකට අපි name එක දෙමු. කවුද මේ? QXR නේ? Or you can say QXY up to here, right? QXY. QXY. Right? මෙයා QXY නේ. හරි? හරි. ඒ වගේම අපි අනිත් පැත්තත් එහෙම ගමු. අර මෙන්න මේ SYR angle එක අපි deduct කරමු 180 degrees වලින්. මොකද once again මේ angle එක තියෙන්නේ හරියටම මෙන්න මේ pink color straight line එක උඩ. එහෙනම් පුතා මෙන්න මෙතන angle එකයි මේ angle එකේ sum එක 180 degrees. එහෙනම් මට 180 degrees වලින් මේ angle එක අයින් කළොත් ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ angle එක. How to label this? Let's say SYX, right? OP වෙනකන් යන්න පුළුවන්. Right. දැන් හොඳට බලන්න මම පොඩ්ඩක් erase කරන්නම් මේ set එක දැන්. කරලා අපි කතා කරේ මෙතන angle එකයි මෙතන angle එකයි equal triangles දෙක congruent වෙන නිසා ඊට පස්සේ 180 degrees වලින් අයින් කරාම මෙන්න මේ angles දෙක ආවා අපිට. දැන් පුතා මේ දෙන්න equal නේද? හරි. right. දැන් හොඳට බලන්න මම try කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ sides දෙක parallel කියන්නනේ. හරි? ඒතර මං හොයාගන්නවා දැන් මේ angles දෙන්න equal කියලා. දැන් මේ angles දෙක ඔයා බැලුවොත් මේ size දෙකත් එක්ක ඔයාලට පේනවා ඇති මේ XY transversal විදිහට act කරනවා. කරලා මේ angles දෙක අපිට පේන විදිහට මොනවද මේ? alternate angles කියලා පේනවා. ඉතින් මේ angles දෙන්න alternate angles plus මේ angles දෙන්න equal කියන්නේ alternate angles equal. Alternate angles equal කියන්නේ පුතා මේ sides දෙන්න automatically parallel වෙනවා. Right? So we can write like this. Therefore, QX parallel to, right, SY, right? It's SY because alternate angles are equal. You can say alternate angles are equal. If alternate angles are equal, then these two lines should be parallel. Okay, that's it.